1 2. Mic 2 1 2. Microphone test 1 2. Checking for sound, checking for clarity. Microphone test 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17. Mic check 1 3 1 4. Checking for sound, checking for clarity. Microphone checks 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3. Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. Check, 1 3, 1 3, 1 3.
Professional advice.
Check, check, 1 2, 1 2. 1 3, check, 1 3, 1 3. 1 3, 1 3, 1 3. Check, check, check.
Can you hear me, sir? Are you getting me on your system now? Just checking it out to see if it's clear. And you're not getting me? You're getting me. Okay, that is good. That is good. That is good. Yes, that's me trying to make it perfect. That's good. So we're gonna stop. Cut that person time out. Oh yeah, that's on silence, huh? Yeah. Hold on, dude. You guys are ready? Okay, let us know when you're ready, sir. Greg, you ready? Hearing it live. You gotta wait on him.
for this. You allow us to do this morning. We pray, God, that this is a part of our mission. We pray, God, that you will bless those who will find possible to be here this morning. God, oh God, that you will bless the leader and his deliverance, not the vision. So we thank you once again for all who came this morning, open minds, to hear our mission of God. We thank you, God, because you've given us this vision. Ladies and gentlemen, I personally would like to thank you, Chairman of the party, for being here this morning, because we realize that you are one of the gateways to get help us to get our message across to our people in the Texas and those around us at large. So the media plays a role in this, and for this we thank you for doing before. Having said that, we thank all my members for being here. These are not all, but some could not have been here this morning, could not be here this morning. But the leader and the speak to those who are not present. I think those who are present. Leader, at this time, I will turn it over to you. Take over from here and deliver your message to both the president and those who will be listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. To God be the glory for great things he has done and greater things he is about to do. It is a pleasure to be here in your presence and by extension in the wider community through radio and the internet. We have here this morning the Progressive Democratic Alliance and Mr. Dudley Delancey to my far right is candidate for the Bite, and Samuel Harvey, a veteran, is an at-large candidate. And to my immediate left is Kelsada Johnson for Leeward, and Mr. Bobby Chambers for Five Keys. In total, at this time, we have 12 out of 15 candidates, and we are speaking with 3 candidates to fill the island-wide at-large spots. I'd like to begin by saying, as someone who's been in the political arena for so many years, since 1975, and have been in government a few times and in the opposition a few times, obviously there are people that I may have offended, even unknowingly, and so I would like to take this opportunity to apologize to anyone who along the way have been offended or have been done wrong or thought to have been done wrong. Have my apologies, and I'm here to serve you and to serve my country to the best of my ability with the help and the leading of the Almighty God. It would be remiss of me and spiritually unauthentic not to mention the spiritual significance of this party. Even though the unsaved and even some of the saved may not appreciate it, there are those who are spiritually in tune enough to grasp it. He or she that has an ear to hear, let them hear. I have to do what I am called to do by the Lord. Now, I'm aware that there are many of us who are hell-bent on keeping God out of our government business until the nation gets into trouble and everybody is calling on God or calling for a day of prayer. And they call it separation of church and state. But actually it's separation of God from government. Some do that because of educated worldly sophistications, and others keep God out of politics for the fear of having a spiritual obligation to do the right thing. So not risking that, they prefer having God out of the picture altogether, and that's the reason why our nation is in such a mess as it is. Now, there are those who refer to the PDA as a third party. but those of you who are anointed and spiritually conscious would know that our slogan is a new beginning, and would recognize that our party symbol is the dove with the olive branch in its mouth. Is from Noah's Ark after the flood, when there was a new beginning. And of course, Noah had 8 people in the ark, which signified a new beginning. And whilst I'm not going into the entire spiritual trappings of this party, I would just like to point out that we are not a third party, but we are the 8th party, political party of the Turks and Caicos. So Turks and Caicos is in a political and spiritual wilderness like we've never been before in the history of politics. And we must not lose sight of the fact that there are too many dark spiritual forces throughout this country that signals us that this country is under spiritual siege as well. And this is not merely a physical battle, but we are also fighting against principalities and powers and spiritual wickedness in the heavenlies and against the rulers of darkness of this world. There are too many altars and shrines and high places throughout these islands. Now, witchcraft is practiced regularly and imported from a few of our neighboring countries, and that is responsible for the state of our country. And so the church can no longer close its eyes to its responsibility of involving itself and not divorcing itself from the affairs of this country. For blessed is the nation whose God is Jehovah. And it is righteousness alone that exalts a nation, and not politicians, particularly not corrupt politicians. Hence, the PDA was called for such a dreadful time as this in our bewildered country, that is beautiful by nature, besieged by witchcraft, besmirched by crime, and belittled by the powers that be. It is no secret, nor is it a mystery, that the PDA is indeed the government in waiting. Our leaders have failed you and failed you miserably. So the PDA has been brought to deal with complex and crucial issues such as the Constitution that has been ripped out of our hands, an issue on which they have failed drastically, as the British is of the opinion that both the government and the opposition hasn't earned or is unworthy of that level of respect to even entertain their proposals for constitution reform. That would give us back democratic power and the pride and dignity of knowing that we are indeed custodians of our political and economic destiny, which is sad and speak volumes of exactly how far this country can get with a PNP or a PDM government. Never before in the history has the British government outright refused total constitution reform, not even crossing a T or dotting an I. They refused it outright. And so, my people, after making some serious introspective soul searching, after reflecting on where we are as a people and country, after being truthful to yourselves and understanding that it is not about legacies that have been trampled on and conveniently prostituted for the benefit of maniacal and opportunistic politicians, we have no choice but to understand that the time has come that it is not about traditional party loyalty, but that the time has come and the urgent expediency is now that we wake up and recognize that it is about country loyalty, not party loyalty. Loyalty to our youth, loyalty to ourselves as a people, and loyalty to our children and generations to come. We need to realize that it is more important for a political party to be loyal to the electorate than the electorate being loyal to the political party. Unfortunately, politicians have succeeded in convincing too many unsuspecting people that it is expedient to be loyal to their party even when they are not loyal to them or loyal to their country. Even when they are failures and are agents of gloom and doom and destruction and retrogression, they still are loyal to that party. And hence, they contribute to where this country are today. But now people must understand that in so doing, they are giving politicians a license to be corrupt, a license to fail, a license to be concerned, and a license to bring on poverty, crime, unemployment, and a lack of representation, and a license to destroy our country. Parties were formed to serve the people and not the other way around. And I want every voter to think about that, because they have been duped. Many have been duped into thinking that their obligation is to the party, not to the country, and not that the party's obligation is to them. The intention of a political party and a government should be that of empowering its people and not empowering themselves at the expense of the people. These are hallmarks of a true government. These are hallmarks of a progressive democratic alliance, empowering our people in the Turks and Caicos. The electorate is now forced to realize that this is no longer a political game of who has the best political rhetoric, who can bring the most celebrities, and who can broke the country quicker, who is a product of a political dynasty and think that they have an inherent right to rule this country, irregardless of the incompetence or their non-commitment because they come from a particular family. Those days have to end. This is no longer the time for who can row the best in the house and raise the most hell and function only like hot air balloons, and when the heat stops, they fall right back to the ground, lifeless. The time has passed when you are qualified to govern in these testing and challenging times by who can get the most land for themselves, who can become the best businessman out of being a minister, and the most bank accounts at the expense of the country. This is what you need to think about. While you, the people, are suffering, starving, broke, busted, and disgusted, and losing everything you worked so hard to achieve, losing your jobs, even your respect, your pride, your land, your security, your heritage, and your prominence in your own country. But because this country is on a roller coaster ride to destruction, invasion by illegals, devastation by crime, and the sordid list goes on, this is about putting this country into the hands of experienced, competent, God-fearing people who have the best interests of this country and its people at heart, and not only who knows what to do, but who know how to get it done. It's about electing people who understand the ever-shifting dynamics and sometimes unfair and ungodly demands of global governance, even when you are independent. It's about leaders and legislators who understand that independence is more than being free from colonialism, and trade unions are more than giving workers the opportunity to represent themselves. But think about this. We have 6,254 National Insurance Board registered TCI workers. And we have 12,377 expatriate NIB registered workers, doubling our number. A majority of people who have no cultural, political, or patriotic ties to this country. And putting a union in their hands is akin to putting the economic and industrial future in their hands. It's like putting a bomb in the hands of terrorists. It is obvious that any unreasonable demands that may shut down the economy of this country would leave us here to suffer while they are free to return to their homes. We need to understand the full implications of each step we take as a people and country, and understand that idealism is not necessarily ideal in these diverse and complicated, ever-shifting global political and economic environment. So we, the PDA, the Progressive Democratic Alliance, are asking you for your support in this upcoming election. We are asking you to give us a chance to give you a chance. Give us a chance to take our country back so we can take it forward. Give us a chance to put Turks and Caicos Islanders back in the driver's seat of their own country. Give the PDA a chance to localize your civil service, to protect your jobs, to give you the kind of representation you deserve and are not getting, and put your country back in prosperity, where you too are feeling the prosperity and benefiting from the progress and feeling safe and secure in your own country once again, feeling and knowing and being proud of being a Turks and Caicos Island. We are being insulted when they say that we are the economy, or the benefits of the economy are not trickling down to us. They shouldn't have to trickle down to us. We shouldn't be at the bottom. If there's any trickling down, it should be from us to others. And they're so comfortable in saying these things because we have allowed them to get away with it. Vote for leaders that are fearless but not disrespectful. Vote for leaders who can see that you are treated fairly. Get the jobs you deserve. Get the respect you deserve on the job. Get the representation you deserve on the job. Get the decent salary you deserve on the job, and yet coexist amicably. Deal fairly with the private sector. Work in cooperation and protect their interests at the same time. You need a mature government. You need a PDA government. Talk is cheap. Flamboyance is mesmerizing, but it costs us dearly, and it is so obvious that we are now paying the price for being irresponsible and naive and just voting for the wrong people for the wrong reasons. People who have brought our country down to its knees. People who have plunged our country in big debts. People who have destroyed our national health care, disinherited our youth, opened our borders to criminals who have been deported from the United States of America, who bring guns and ammunition and drugs into our country and take away the peace and safety that we once enjoyed and now threaten to destroy our country. These are the issues that determine if you are governing, if you are true leaders. Not building roads at the last minute to befuddle and deceive the electorate. Roads are something that should be built. It is the government's responsibility to put the infrastructure in place. All you need to build roads is the money. Building roads does not take innovative thinking. It does not take engagement. That's the engineer's job. It does not take confrontation and negotiation. So let's not be fooled when all these testy issues prevail and are getting worse by the day, instead, for example, of seeing that the immigration functions, the labor board functions, and those civil servants who are responsible to do what they have to do to protect our people's jobs and protect them on the jobs. Instead of doing that, it's a cop-out. So you withdraw, you wash your hands off it, and desert your people, and you shirk your responsibilities, and you talk about a union. How convenient and irresponsible can this government get? What are you doing while our youth are suffering, our people are being disinherited and disenfranchised, while our government has been constitutionally castrated, when we can't even spend our own money, when the land is not in our control? We have become subservient in every aspect of our lives. In the civil service, our people are abused, kept down, held back from promotions and benefits that they deserve, but instead they are given to expats. These are the real challenges that you are allowing as a government to fester without even addressing. But you think a few roads will solve everything. A nice roundabout will pave your way to elections. Yay! That would quiet them down, you're saying. Let's build a couple roads. Nice roundabout. But I put you on notice. You are mistaken, because people are catching too much hell to be fooled again. People's lights are off. Their refrigerators are empty if they have any electricity. Their children are unemployed. They're jobless. Those are the realities that they cannot forget on election day, regardless of how black and how smooth the road is on the way to the polls. They are checking the facts that expect civil servants and contract officers are treated differently from Turks and Caicos civil servants and contract officers. There are double standards in pay scales for similar jobs, double standards and allowances and other benefits, including housing and transportation, double standards in choosing which islands they want to work in, whether it's Grand Trunk or Provo, even if the expats have no office to work in Provo. They are allowed to work from their homes. How have the mighty fallen? How have we been so disgraced as a nation and a people? These are the hot button issues that you nurse and you nurture instead of dealing with them and representing your people. But it's roads you're talking about. Green paths. Not green pastures, green paths. What the country needs are green pastures where there is prosperity, where there is light not at the end of the tunnel, but light at the beginning of the tunnel straight through. TCI contractors are walking around or under the trees or sitting on walls drinking or by Kisco because they can't find jobs, but expat contractors are working, some even without work permits. This is what matters to these same deserted, abandoned people who are going to the polls. Our skilled people, air conditioner, electricians, plumbers are jobless. But others from everywhere else besides the Turks and Caicos are working. So help me God. Our laborers are unemployed, but look at the back of the pickup trucks filled with workers from near and far, but almost none are Turks and Caicos Islanders. Some are illegal because they don't even have work permits. If that doesn't satisfy you, look in the banks on a Friday morning, and who do you see in droves? These are the bread and butter issues that needs to be addressed instead of some streets. Let's fix the streets. That should have been done 2 years ago. You should be ashamed to even address the public looking for their support, talking about paving the roads. These are the issues that the PDA will address. These are what's broken and what the PDA will fix with expediency. High school graduates can't get a simple job at a hotel, much less an office job. And another few hundred just joined the executive ranks of the Turks and Caicos Kickstone Company. Unemployed generals, John Kaya victims. And people are being brought in by the day, taking these jobs that our youth can do, taking bread out of their hungry mouths, robbing them of deserved opportunities in their own country, and stripping them of their dignity. So what are you telling them? We are building roads and green parks. God have mercy. Can we eat that? Can we take that to the bank? Can we feed our children with that? College graduates either staying in the UK or returning there after they come back home. Why? Because they are not given a chance to take the jobs that they're qualified to do. Even in some of the law firms, the hotels, real estate, you name it, and it's too good for Turks and Caicos Islanders in the Turks and Caicos. Our biggest obstacle, our biggest setback in the Turks and Caicos is being a Turks and Caicos Islander. Our homes are up for sale by the liquidators or the banks. We have lost our insurance policies that we have invested in for years and years. We have lost millions of dollars that we have deposited in TCI Bank. We have lost 60% of our retirement benefit from National Insurance Board, money that we have paid in. Government allowed it to happen, first in the interim, then the PNP government, and the PDM sat right down like they were fed a gallon of calm nerve juice. The people in Preton, development homes, where tiles are popping up off the floor like some ghost scene is going on. Sinkholes are surrounding their homes, walls are cracking up, their houses are sinking and falling apart right before their eyes and right from under their feet. And now I understand that one of the developers is planning to jump ship and leave town. My people, where is your government? Where is your elected opposition? It's a shame and a disgrace and an indictment on the PNP government for allowing such development to take place under their watch with planning given approvals. So what do the homeowners do? Who do they turn to get their money back? Suddenly, not this lame duck government. We're losing our businesses to foreign entities. Take a look at the supermarkets, the grocery stores that were once Turks and Caicos Islanders. Tout fini. It's all gone. Take a look at the water sports that our people were once prospering with. We are losing our businesses to foreign entities. Our people have no representation in the civil service or private sector, and they face discrimination and abuse daily. These are the realistic factors that we cannot afford to forget in the heat of a campaign where money is given out, drinks are free, and promises are a fool's paradise. Trust me, them roads ain't gonna get you nowhere. These are issues that you haven't addressed, and you can't address them. Not now. And if you had 4 more years, you still couldn't address them. You don't have the commitment. You don't have the strength. You don't have the resolve and the love of country and people. The special interest groups are who you serve. The British government is who you fear, and everybody else that has authority. Believe it or not, your game is over. Your money will do you no good in elections. Your roads will take you nowhere. What our youth and our older people are looking for is a road to prosperity, a road to a safe country, a road that will take them to the top, a road that will empower them, and a road that will take them to the place of being proud Turks and Caicos Islanders. And the PDA, not dealing with a road. We have mapped out a highway that will take you there steadily, safely, and suddenly. Look at us now. How we've been disrespected and disgraced and robbed of what God has given us. We have to raffle for our own land to build a house and bid against experts for land to do a business. I guess the mistake we made was making gambling legal in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Now we have to gamble for our land. It is incredible, unbelievable. Can you imagine how disgrace all this sounds to the people abroad who are listening and watching on the internet? But the sad part about it is that it is all the truth. As much as it hurts, it's the truth, the whole truth. Can somebody help me here? Nothing but the truth. Look at the immigration law they recently passed, with thousands standing by to take away the little voting rights that you have in your country. With people from the United Kingdom and every overseas British territory, about 14 of them, easily qualifying, not only taking away your voting rights, but your jobs, your land. And where was the PDA opposition when the government was doing this? Right there, silent and compliant, with the exception of one lone voice. And they refused to even vote against it. 2 o'clock in the morning when you're getting your beauty nap, they passed it. Now the PDM is talking about they're going to change the law simply because I challenge them. Why didn't they even kick against it or vote against it? Deceivers and hypocrites, vote mongers, what they all are, political predators. My people, Turks and Caicos Islanders from each and every social, culture, ethnic, and national background. Didn't matter where you born, where you came from, as long as you're a Turks and Caicos Islander. I'm speaking to you and for you and on your behalf. It's about time that we come together as one people and build this country for the benefit of us all. Where are the people you elected that are being paid so handsomely and just got a raise in salary? What are they doing to help you and save what little is left of your country? Have you asked yourself why you elected them and they rejected you? Where are the people that are supposed to represent you? Because there is no representation. Their hands are tied, their lips are sealed, and their minds are eclipsed. Just tell me, since when do we settle for incompetency and failure in government? They admitted that they are helpless, they can't do nothing. They say their hands are tied. How can I tell you my hands are tied in government, I can't do anything, and come to you, look for a vote to put me back with more tied hands and nothing being able to do anything? They think you stupid? Or you high on something that hasn't been discovered yet? This is exactly why there is more than one political party. And that is exactly why there are elections. If the PNP and the PDM fail at the job, and they have miserably, then vote for the Progressive Democratic Alliance. Not only because we're an alternative, but because we're a viable alternative. Because we have candidates who were tested and tried in government and left a record, and a record that speaks of achievements, progress, ability, credibility, and advancement for our young people. My people, for God's sakes, the PDA should not even have to campaign, considering what are the alternatives. The writing is on the wall, is in your face, and is in your minds. For your own sake and your country's sake, wake up and vote the Progressive Democratic Alliance into office and save your country, save your family, and save yourself. This is reality. This is a life and death election. This is the election that will decide whether we take our country back or we are taken further backward and placed in the back seat in our own country. Maybe I should create a new word here. Placed in the backest seat of our country. The stakes are too high to play dolly house politics any longer, or dynasty politics, or even traditional politics, or prostituting Jag's name to gain sympathy and to ride on it when you don't even respect Jags, and the things you do would have Jags rolling over in his grave. My people, this is not about partying and rabble-rousing and keeping you in a mental drunken stupor that your mind is taken off where they're taking you and your country and what they are doing to you and your country until it's too late, like what happened the last 2 times, causing a British takeover and a constitutional crisis. And who was one of the main persons to save this country, turn it around, and fix the Constitution? Yours truly, the leader of the Progressive Democratic Alliance. And you have Samuel Harvey, who shared in this. Now we have brilliant young minds, new minds, innovative and creative, committed, dedicated, hardworking. So, you do not have the luxury of cherry-picking individual politicians. We have a moral, national, and patriotic obligation to choose not Rufus Ewing, or Charlene Cartwright Robertson, or Michael Missig, or Oswald Skipping, but to choose either the PNP, the PDM, or the PDA as a party. The PDA is not a dream team. We have surpassed dreaming. We are a team of visionaries with fresh, creative, and innovative ideas and solutions to the problems that this country are facing. We are the team that recognizes that our youth need attention, our youth need representation, our youth need opportunities, our youth need education, our youth need technical and tertiary education opportunities. Our youth need to be empowered in their own country. They need to be given more options than resorting to drugs and alcohol as a refuge and resorting to crime as a way of life. They deserve better, and the PDA will ensure that they get better. So don't fall for the deceptive scheme, and don't let anybody tell you that you can give Skip one vote and maybe Sam one vote, but don't vote for the others, or give the other votes to the PDM, the PNP or the PDM. They're setting you up for a big fall right back into their hands again, their failing hands. They are deceiving you and trying to dupe you. They are insulting your intelligence. Skip can't do a thing by himself except make noise in the house. And I ain't got time for that. Let me brief you now. Because Skip one vote is insignificant and powerless in the legislature. So if that's what you intend to do, keep it. I got better things to do. What you need is a paradigm shift, a complete turnaround in this country, a new beginning. And that can only be done by a competent government, a group, a team, not one person, but a party, and that's the PDA party. In closing, my people of the Turks and Caicos Islands, that is the choice you have. Pray about it. Be for real, be honest with yourself. Go with your conscience, because I'm certain that the PDA is your only choice for a new beginning. God bless you, and God bless the Turks and Caicos. And before closing, just like to mention that there's a rally, a PDA rally tomorrow night. Well, you know, only the PDA have real rallies now. Downtown by Sam's building at 7:30. And you'll get the icing on the cake. This is the car. The load is behind. Let me thank the press once again for your support and for being here. Thank you very much.
Are you thinking back to
Yes. I am asking voters to vote for the party. Voting for me alone is a waste of time and a waste of your vote and a waste of my time. Just like that. Yes, down the line. Otherwise, forget it. If there's a coalition, if there's need for a coalition government, then you work with the best people who are available, whether they're PDM or PNP. There are no preconceived ideas. We're not going into this with any preconceived ideas of having a coalition with the PNP or the PDM. Whoever are the best people available, what the electorate give us, if we have to form a coalition, we will do it for the benefit of this country. If it is, if it can make a difference, if it can make a difference. But I'm not going to fill a spot and to be in government and get a nice salary and benefits. That's not what I'm about. I'm about turning this country around. I'm about representing our people, finding them jobs, getting rid of this illegal immigration problem that we have, stopping this crime that we have, empowering our young people. That's what I'm about. And if I can't do that, if I can't make that difference, I'll just give up the seat.
What are you feeling about the mood of the electorate? You're sensing that people are starting to get a little confused in some sense because they think that so many people are moving on the course of many 25 potential at-large candidates. So do you think that all of this is
Of course it is. I have to say that. Let me preempt by saying that everybody has the right to put themselves up for election if they think they have a contribution to make. Let me say that. But of course it's more challenging to the electorate, and that's why the electorate must think carefully, must look intrinsically and understand what they're doing and say, hey, which of these entities? You know, if you start cherry picking, you can have confusion. So which of these entities? This is the PNP, the PDM, or the PDA? And of course, it's the PDA.
And, you know, based on the comments you made, there were very strong comments from a lot of people again, you were a lot of people. Do you feel that this is a bad dash right now by the government to sort of get things done? They consistently deny that.
Well, I mean, it's obvious that it is, because the real things that matter, they're not getting it done, they're not even addressing it. So this, these little things that they're doing, they're hoping that they can influence the minds of people, to say, well, okay, they've done something, but that's too little, too late. And they don't even have the resolve or the determination to address the real issues. That's the part about it. Yes, the PDA hopes to have a convention before election. Will I? That's a possibility. Yes, we have Brenter North. We have Mr. Kwame Smith, an attorney. Grand Turk South, we have Mr. Noel Skippings, an attorney. Former minister in government, the only non-PNP to have ever won an election in South Caicos, and not just once, but twice. And then South Caicos, Mr. Christy Hall, a former PNP stalwart. When we come to Providencial, we go to North Caicos. We have Miss Tracy Smith, who was also a PNP general, an experienced campaigner. And we come to Providenciales. Leeward, you have this person right to my left, this beautiful lady here. Pretty dimples. For Leeward, Miss Calceda Johnson, and the Bite, Providenciales, Mr. Dudley Delancey, better known as Mr. Sorry. Then we come to Q-Town, Dr. Smith, Edward Smith. And then we go to Five Keys, Mr. Bobby Chambers to my far left, young, ambitious man, passionate about the youth and whatnot. And we go to Blue Hills and Mrs. Betty Bean, former teacher and powerful woman of God. And to my right, you have Mr. Samuel Harvey at large, and myself at large. And because our wheeling candidate is a civil servant, I wouldn't put his name out like that. But everybody knows who he is. If you don't know, he'll tell you. And we are negotiating now to fill the other three at large spaces. He has a right. He has a right to do that. I mean, like I say, everybody has a right to run. Next question. Isn't that the same question you just asked me?
Well, let me just, I asked the former PDA Honorable question on my program a few days ago. There is a widely held view in this church in Cape Town that given where this country is at, that you and the Honorable Michael Lizzie are seen as the most two experienced and capable leaders to lead this country out of where we are at. Given the fact where the Honorable Michael Lizzie sits, his little issues, how do you view those views held by the great majority of the people of the country?
I would ask the people of this country, in making their judgment on any politicians, they check our records and they check the country alongside our record. I am not in a position to decide whether or not I or Mike and I are the two most accomplished politicians. That is for the people to decide, not for me to decide. Questions? Well, first of all, let me be the first to agree that when we talk about development, we're going to need even more people than we now have. But there are some things that needs to be taken into consideration and dealt with. First of all, Turks and Caicos Islanders need to be employed before you talk about work permit holders. And so when the PDA becomes the government, one of the first things we're going to do is systematically diminish work permit holders in preference of qualified Turks and Caicos Islanders who are willing to work and who will work. Number one. Number two is that we in the Turks and Caicos Islands do not need a broadening or a widening of the franchise. We are quite capable of voting a government in. We don't need any more help than we've already gotten. So from a standpoint of bringing people in, if we bring you in to work, we are helping you, we are helping your family back home. We are not bringing you in to make you a citizen. We are bringing you in to work. We are not bringing you in to give you a PRC. We are bringing you in to work. We are not bringing you in to naturalize you. And so the immigration law is going to be so structured that you come into work, you can't even qualify to become a Turks and Caicos Islander. We are not looking for Turks and Caicos Islanders. We have more Turks and Caicos Islanders now than we can find jobs for, even though we have more jobs than we have Turks and Caicos Islanders. Next question.
In regard to that, we are comfortable that only about 22% of people to determine what compensation might be for this. I did a study and found that in regional countries, it's at the lowest 68% of the population. How do you feel about that? The 22% to decide what happens. Because we only have 70.
Well, see, that's why I'm telling you, you have to control immigration, because the 23% or whatever percent, right? The people who belong here, whether they came from someplace else, but they're Turks and Caicos Islanders. At the end of the day, whatever happens in the Turks and Caicos Islands should be in the interest of Turks and Caicos Islanders. So if it don't fit you when you're not a Turks and Caicos Islanders, hello. I don't believe the pressure and other questions. I can't believe this. See now, you see what, did you get it? No, right? Oh,
I have a
okay.
question for you. I know you're a Maryland out of many words. You're speaking very rhythmically. Quite often, if you go to these press conferences, we hear everything that the governing political party has done. Has the PNC done anything like this?
Not yet, but when they call election, they would have done something right.
I'm glad that we have a little bit of time to think about it. It's been for the last maybe 3 days that I first come in the past strong feeling that the PNC government does not care about Texas I mean, that it's being expressed sincerely, that you should be something else in order to get, I guess,
Because their actions have determined that. They refuse to represent them in the private sector. They refuse to represent them in the civil service. They refuse to represent them in their businesses. They refuse to represent them in the illegal immigration situation with jobs. They just negligent and don't care about Turks and Caicos Island. There may be a reason for that, which I wouldn't say here.
But Honorable Skipper, why should the people of the Turks and Caicos Islands and looking for an alternative consider the PDA rather than the PDA?
Well, for one thing, experience. You have myself, who was two-time chief minister, and I have a litany of accomplishments which will be published, and they include localizing the civil service. They include localizing private sector management. They include looking after the youth and providing scholarships. Even when I was a Minister of Education, they include dealing with the British government, restoring a constitution in our country. It includes having the most positive impact on the tourist industry, bringing in the Mosaic lines that you see on the airport, include building the airports that you see now in operation, and the list goes on. And then you have a man like Samuel Harvey to my right, who was the best minister of work this country ever had. And as a matter of fact, what people don't understand, everything major that has gone wrong in this country from an infrastructure standpoint, Sam had commanded on it before it happened. When they was doing the port in North Caicos, he told them, no, this is not what you're supposed to do. This will happen. Even with the freaking development down there, he made an input when it was happening and tell them, no, this is not going to work. Because he knows that's his line of work. That's his line of business. So we have experienced people. We have Noel, who was a minister in government. In the last election, when the PNP went in, we would have had more experience than they had going in government. And if you look at the PNP opposition now, we have more experience than they had. And when they come out of this selection of candidates, we will have more experience again going into election than they've had. So not only do we have experience, but we have a record that nobody else can surpass. Yes, sir. The PDM has a record that the PDA has a record with Sam and myself and Noah, who was there already, right? That even they cannot refute. The PNP and the PDM. There isn't any more PPP. The green has consumed both the blue and the yellow. So, well.
Honorable Stevens, one cannot help but notice the headquarters. I believe this is the first time that many of us press been into your headquarters.
It's lovely, isn't it?
But I'm sure that all the media houses here today glance on the very noticeable picture of our national heroes, the Honorable James McCarthy, looking down on this tape. Uncle Stephen, can you just share with us why the portrait is up?
Why is dressed in green?
And he's dressed in green.
No, he's dressed in a dark suit with a white shirt and colored tie. So I don't know when you talk about colorful speaking. McCartney's a national hero, not a PDM hero, not a PNP hero, not a PDA hero, and we respect him for that. I started out with him, and I will end up for him. He can ask a dozen more.
I was given a couple of months ago on my program, and speaking as to why you have left the PDM and have started a new party. You made a statement that the PDM no longer identifies with the values that you and McCartney and those in those days have founded the party. What is it has the PDM lost in it that you cannot stand with?
The PDM has lost what Ms. Hamilton just asked about the PNP. They have lost that passion for protecting and promoting representing them before their own interests. For example, when our Turks and Caicos employees, contractors, and laborers, and other Caribbean friends, contractors, and laborers were on West Caicos, a company was brought in to take their jobs. They were all kicked off West Caicos, and it was given to that private company. And as it turned out, the private company was in partnership with another local company, and that local was the Turks and Caicos Island, and that local was one of the executives of the PDM. And it all went hush and quiet, and so the PDM had gotten like the PNP, protect our interests, what we can get, to hell with the people. That's not what JAG says. And it's not because JAG said it, but it has to be within you. You have to have that genuine commitment, not just want to get there for power and to enrich yourselves. It's about the concern of my people. How are they surviving? What jobs do they have? I mean, how they're being treated? How their businesses are faring? They have lost that. They have lost putting the people first. And I can go on and on, but that alone, and the same thing happened with the 7 Stars. So this is the sort of thing that and what happened in the immigration bill in the House. The PDM would have stood up and represented our people and killed that bill. If we couldn't kill the bill, we'd probably kill ourselves trying to kill the bill. But no, they sat there. The same thing happened when the national insurance, when the NIB, when the pensions were being cut, another 30%. People were looking for the PBM opposition to raise hell. It did not happen. They sat and allowed it to happen. That's not the PDM. That's not JAG's party. That's not the party that we formed. JAG's ideologies exist and they live now only within the Progressive Democratic Alliance. Not those who prostitute his name while doing everything that he is against that would make him roll in his grave. No, if it was up to me, my final bid would have happened some time ago. But God has given me an assignment that he hasn't released me from, and I got into plenty of trouble trying to release myself. So when he releases me, I would much rather had a big conversation with some of my spiritual leaders just last night for the same thing. When they told me, no, God didn't release me. And so everywhere I go, every offer that meets me, tell me what I'm supposed to be doing. And so at the end of the day, I would rather obey God. Can somebody finish it? Than man. Well,
Ladies and gentlemen, it seems that you've come to the end of questions, and again, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you. I am aware that, very conscious that you are playing a very important role in PDA getting out this message. What we will do, we are in this together.